Hello everyone, welcome to Lovoria Network. Thank you for being here today. I want you to imagine growing up in a home where your father's love never felt quite balanced, where one sibling always seemed to get the golden treatment while you watched from the shadows. That's the story I'm going to share today. It's raw. It's painful. It's honest. I want you to feel the tension, the heartbreak, and ultimately the fierce drive that rose up inside me when I decided I would no longer be invisible. My sister was the fun one, the party girl. She was the family charmer, the one Dad bragged about, the one he seemed so proud to flaunt in front of friends and relatives. In his eyes, she was the wild flower, the bold spirit. I, on the other hand, was quieter, thoughtful, responsible. I kept my head down. I worked hard. I stayed out of drama. And yet, despite that, my efforts were barely seen. Every praise, every recognition, every compliment seemed to go only to her. I watched him smile when she walked into the room, but rarely looked my direction. That weighed on me in ways no one could see. I remember a particular evening when my sister came home late, stumbling, laughter echoing down the hall. Dad greeted her with warmth, asking who she'd been with, telling her to call him when she got home. Meanwhile, I sat in my room, trying to quiet my own thoughts, thinking, does he not even care that I exist? I didn't dare complain. Complaining meant being labeled the serious one, the bitter one. But inside, resentment grew. I felt dismissed. I felt hurt. I felt unworthy in my own home. And that loneliness fueled something deep inside me. Business was my world. I had clients, deals, networks. I poured myself into success, quietly building behind the scenes. Whenever Dad or others asked what I did, I'd say, I'm working, but I never boasted. Because in that house, loud ambition was viewed as arrogance. Quiet loyalty was preferred, unless you were the favored child. So I kept lower profile. I let others take the spotlight. But in my silence, I sharpened my skills. I cultivated trust. I delivered results. And I waited, for the moment I could prove my worth. Then one day, a key client, someone Dad had always admired, called me. They asked me to take lead on a big project. I hesitated. I thought, he's going to think I'm stepping over lines. But I said yes anyway. I poured every ounce of creativity, every bit of late-night energy into that work. I wanted more than a win. I wanted undeniable proof that I could shine on my own. The project soared. The client raved. They asked me to handle more. Suddenly, the quiet child in Dad's shadow became his most valuable asset, though he still didn't see it the way I felt it. Meanwhile, my sister, still partying, still chasing social highs, saw me rising. She mocked me. She laughed behind closed doors. She said I was desperate for attention. She told friends I was jealous, manipulative. She whispered rumors. But the clients didn't listen. They saw the results. They saw reliability. They saw loyalty. And they gravitated toward me. I began to win over accounts she had once claimed or assumed were hers. And every win hurt her, and it hurt Dad. One afternoon, Dad confronted me. He asked, sharply, why are you poaching clients that were meant for your sister? Why are you trying to sabotage our family's reputation? I stood there, heart pounding. I tasted anger. I felt sadness. I took a deep breath and said, because your reputation is only as strong as the work behind it. Because I deserve to be recognized. Because those clients needed someone reliable, not someone always drunk or flaky. His eyes narrowed. He likely saw me as insubordinate. But in that moment I didn't care. I had already decided, from now on, I would fight. In the following months, I doubled down. I worked harder, stayed later, followed up more diligently. I cultivated relationships. I listened to clients' frustrations. I brought them ideas, solutions, support. While my sister's world swirled with nights out and drama, mine centered on integrity and results. Slowly, the clients I had taken started referring others to me. The momentum shifted. It became impossible for anyone in our circle to deny, I was thriving. And at the heart of it, I was healing something inside myself. There were nights, though, when I'd break down. When I'd call a friend and cry, Why did Dad never see me? Why did he favor her so openly? Why did he ignore all the work I did? Those tears were real. I felt abandoned. I felt starved for approval. Yet in those tears, my determination hardened. Every insult, every dismissal, became fuel for my ambition. I promised myself, I will surpass expectations. I will succeed not just for me, but to heal that wounded child who felt invisible. One client, in particular, became central. Let's call them Company X. They had been dealing with both us occasionally, but leaned toward my sister because of family ties. When they saw consistent deliverables from me, they shifted more projects my way. They began asking for me by name. They asked my sister to step back from major decisions. One day, the CEO told me, "We trust your judgment. You're the one driving results." That line stirred something fierce in me. I realized I was no longer chasing Dad's approval. I was doing this for myself, for dignity. Eventually, news trickled back home. Dad heard that I had secured more clients, more revenue. He was forced to reckon with change. He called me, asking for details, asking how I'd done it. I replied bluntly, by doing what you always told me I could, by working hard, by being honest, and by refusing to stay small. He was silent over the line. I could hear the weight of regret. But I didn't wait for his apology. I didn't need it anymore. I had already grown beyond it. My sister, seeing her influence decline, lashed out. She said I was betraying family. She accused me of being manipulative, cold, heartless. She tried to rally friends, spreading rumors about deals made unfairly, backdoor maneuvers. But the clients, those I'd earned, knew the truth. They knew who delivered, who stayed calm in crisis, who showed up. Her spotlight began to flicker. My light began to blaze. There were moments I wondered, did I become too much like her? Did I lose part of my kindness by rising so hard? I asked myself if ambition had blinded me to love. But I looked at what I had built, the trust, the relationships, the respect, and I knew the price was worth it. That pain became purpose. That neglect became proof. And in the process, I discovered strength I'd never seen in myself. Finally, one evening, Dad came to me at our family gathering. He looked at me differently. Not with open admiration, but with curiosity. He asked, "How did you turn so many clients your way?" I answered him simply, "I stopped waiting to be seen. I showed up anyway. I worked, even when you didn't notice. And I refused to back down." He nodded, perhaps ashamed, perhaps proud. I couldn't tell. But I felt something shift. Today, my sister and I are estranged. We talk only when necessary. The wounds in our relationship are deep. But I no longer seek her love, or Dad's approval, to validate my worth. I have my own legacy now. Clients who respect me. A reputation founded on results. A life built on my terms. And yes, some nights I still feel that hollow ache from younger years, but I won't let it define me. To anyone watching this who has ever been ignored, undervalued, or overshadowed, know this, your story is not over. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. And your work, your heart, your consistency, they matter. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Raise your voice. Shine your light. Fight for your place. Because in your rise, you reclaim who you always were. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. If this story touched something inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Lovoria Network for more stories that heal, inspire, and remind you, you are never alone.